last game of the Shark season here. It's going to be against the Granite State Stars. They're starting about 1 minute here. Let's do some final adjusting here on our camera, and we're going to be ready for action. All right, we're about ready to start the action here in this final game of the Shark season. We have a couple celebrities up here. Dave Mohammed, his son is playing junior hockey up in Canada. Bob DiGregorio. Ready to start. Starting lineup appears to be Carroll, Doobie, and Hall up front with DiGregorio and DeMore on defense. It's back to DeMore on the opening faceoff. DeMore dumps it in down behind the Granite State Stars net. Headmanning it out. Going out, we have a 2-on-1 here with DiGregorio back. Shot wide of the net, or deflected by the goalie wide of the net. Sharks on a shot from the point, save. Second shot, save. Picked up by Carroll, moves it up along the boards, unable to get it out. Back in the corner, DiGregorio without a stick, trying to move it along with his foot. Hall in to help out. Shot from the point and a save by our goaltender, who I'm not sure who that is at this time. Now we have a change in personnel for both teams. Coming on is Kasparian, Williams, and Craglio. It appears as though there's a shot on net. That's Gaffney on defense in pursuit. Pushed by Craglio. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. It appeared as though he was trying to push it behind the net. Face off again will be to the left of, I believe that's DQ. Taken by Craglio. Run over, back now. Craglio picks it up, rounds the boards. Williams taking his man into the boards. Picked up and a shot wide of the net. Kasparian pushed out, and we have a call. I'm not sure what the referee is. 24 white, Gaffney. Gaffney gets a penalty here. We're not sure what that was. So the face-off will be just inside the blue line of the Shark zone. We have a change in personnel as Ross and DiGregorio come out on defense with Vasico and Jones up front. Vasico taking the draw. Gets it back to Ross. Ross with it, rounding the boards over to Jones. Jones tipping it out down the length of the ice. Vasico attempting to get down and unable to take his man out. Oh, picked up nicely by Holler, broke up the play. Made the Sharks the Stars reorganize. Behind the Sharks end, kicked out. Ross in the corner attempting to grab it. Well, it's picked up by DiGregorio, who attempts to move it out, unable to clear the zone. Behind the net, the Stars are on it, right out front. Jones breaking that one up. There's Basico on it. Back to Ross. Ross in control, moving it down the length of the ice again. Perry coming on for Hall. Back there's Costa with him now. Costa moving it down the length of the ice. Costa and DeMore out there on defense now, along with and Perry right out front. Got the score by Perry. That was let's see, who was behind the net? That was Carroll behind the net. Pushed it out front to Perry. Perry scores short-handed with 17:44 remaining in the first period. Those are all he's going to get. 48 seconds left in the penalty, assessed to Sean Gaffney. Back on to DeMore, attempting to move it out, unable to clear the zone. Stars taking a shot from way out, right out front, across the front of the net. Sharks attempting to control. Carroll going over to replace the stick. DeMore raising all holy hell out there out front of the net. Coming out with it now is one of the Stars. Stars on a shot from the point. Unable to do anything with it. Carroll going off as he clears it down the length of the ice. Perry in hot pursuit down there. Out there now is Riglio and Rodney. Picked up by Ross. Ross right out front. On a broken stick. Roofed on and moved down the length of the ice again. Now there's an offside call as Mucciaroni was still offside. Face-off will be just outside of the Star zone as the referees pick up all the debris from broken sticks and whatnot. Riglio taking the face-off. Back to Ross, dumps it in. Behind the net, the Stars goaltender, he's bumped, and Rodney coming in with it. Rodney moving it around, back to the point to DiGregorio on a shot from the point. High corner, upper right-hand corner, Dave DiGregorio on a booming slap shot. Here it is. Smile, David. Dave DiGregorio pounds that one home. His father is up in the stands there. I'm sure that he's very pleased with that. He'd like to have been up here tonight announcing, but I know that he's preoccupied meeting with Dave Mohammed on the scouting report from Canada. Gaffney with it. Moving out to the neutral ice zone. Dumped in by the Stars. Delayed offside as Costa goes back to pick it up. Over to Carroll. Attempting to move it out, unable to, and the Stars on a shot from the point. Right on net. There's Gaffney with it. Moves it down the length of the ice. This will be an icing call. Icing called against the Sharks on that play. As I believe that was Carroll that was unable to get to it. He was out there with Doobie and Hall. Face-off taken now by Hall. Bringing it back to Costa. Costa with it. Costa headmanning it to Carroll. Unable to control it. Back on it is Costa now. Moving it over to Carroll. Carroll with it. Headmanning it up to Hall, who attempts to get it across the doobie, unable to. Picked up by the Stars. Here's a possible break, an offside call against number 44 of the Stars. The coaches exchanging a few barbs here. Stars coach questioning the offside call. Crelo centering between Williams and Kasparian. Little go around down there between Williams and his line mate. Round back to Costa, or Ross, excuse me. Picked off by the Stars. Pushed out, now controlled by Ross. Ross moves it up. Stars on a breakaway. Picked up by DeMore, I believe. A shot from the point, now picked up again by DeMore. DeMore moving it up. Neutral ice, unable to get to it. And a shot and a goal there by the defenseman of the Stars. So lots of action here in the first period. 14:41 remaining. The score is 2-1 in favor of the Sharks. It appears as though Lewis isn't here tonight. I'm not sure of all the players missing, but here's Perry attempting to move it out, unable to. The Stars pick it up, broken up by DiGregorio. Stars controlling, dumping it in. Deep into the Shark zone, it's picked up by Costa behind the net. Costa over to Perry, Perry with it. Rink wide over to Jones. He was talking about the Jones boy. Back to DiGregorio at center ice. Dumps it in. Moved up along the boards. Vasico taking his man in heavily. Behind the Star zone, Perry after it. Perry attempting to control, unable to. Uh-oh, here's a breakaway. The Stars on a breakaway. And a nice save. And a second save as the Stars are moving right in to take control of that play. Face-off will be to the left of... I hope that's Candido. I think that's who it is. Or DQ. Which one is it? I'm not sure. I think that's Candido in the nets. Face-off taken by Criglio. Picked up now by Maccheroni. Maccheroni attempting to move it out of the zone. Does in the neutralized zone. There's Criglio after it. Now back on it is Gaffney. Going behind his net to set up. Moves it around the boards. One of the Stars players moves in to cut it off. Picked up again by Gaffney. In the neutralized zone. Gaffney with it. And an offside call against the Sharks. Criglio going in for the face-off here. Kriglio with a face-off. Stars drawing. Stars moving in the neutral ice zone, dumping it in behind the Sharks net. Somebody who picked it up was DeMore. Now DeMore with it. Out to, right out front. Oh, what a great opportunity there for the Stars as the Sharks break it back out. No icing will be called on this as Rodney gets to it first. Moved around the boards. Gaffney not seeing it there. Continuing back. Doobie with it. Doobie dumping it in. Now back on it is Jones. Ross picks it up. Moving up out of the zone over to Doobie. Doobie with it. Doobie dumping it in. Here's Carroll in hot pursuit behind the net. Right back out as the Stars clear it. That's Costa with it. Costa moving it up. Unable to get to it was Doobie. Costa again moving in. Now Hall, fortunately, was back there to pick that play apart. The Stars regrouping. Moving over back on is Costa. Costa moving it up. Unable to get his stick on it was Perry. Into the zone. Here goes Hall fighting to get in there. He just clubs his man over the head with a stick. And Hall with it. Stars pick it apart, move it up in the neutral ice zone. It'll be icing call here, possibly. Costa goes in to touch it first, bringing the face-off back down to the other zone. Face-off will be to the right of the Stars goaltender. Line change with Williams and Kasparian, as well as Kriglio out there. On defense, we have Gaffney and DiGregorio. Face-off taken by Kriglio. Moved up along the boards. DiGregorio keeping it in. Shot from the point. Goaltender saving it there, holding on as he was pressured by Williams, who's now dicking around with someone down there in the corner. Face off to the right of the Stars goaltender now. Oh, now they changed it. No, it is to the right of the Stars goaltender. I was wrong. Taken by Kriglio. Kriglio attempting to get it back to DiGregorio. Moved in by Kasparian. Now picked up by the Stars. The Stars on a one-on-one. Broken up nicely by Gaffney. Gaffney taking his man into the boards. Coming out with it. Gaffney attempting to move it around the boards. Unable to get it out to now Kasparian. Over to Williams, who's unable to get to it. Kriglio attempting to get to it. Unable to. Move down into the Star zone. Deep in the Star zone now. Over now, right out front of us here. It's picked up by Perry, and he takes a rap on the head. Perry just got a real goddamn stick across the back of the head there by one of the Stars players. There it is, DeMore with it. There was no call on that play. Vasico with it. Vasico walking in. He's got Perry with him. Oh, and just tipped off his stick. Vasico right out front. Attempting to keep it in. Unable to was DeMore. The Stars break it out. They're in the neutral ice zone. DeMore picks it back up and pushes it right back into the Star zone. As Perry is in pursuit of his man down there. DeMore attempting to keep it in here along the boards. Unable to as it's cleared down the length of the ice. It'll be an icing call here against the Stars. Bring the face-off back down to their zone. Face-off again to the right of the Stars goaltender. This time will be taken by, I believe, Vasico. Vasico moves in for the face-off. Checking out the line arrangements here. Making sure that his players are set. Drawing back to Ross, to Perry. Perry in control. attempting to get it out to Hall, or Jones, who's right out front. Moved down the length of the ice. Ross back on it. And Stars player in hot pursuit. The Stars taking it away from him. Right out front, and a big hit by Perry. Shot from the point here. And is broken up by Vaseko, who's tripped up. Vaseko hit right there, and he's taken down heavily. As Vaseko was taken in, kind of a cheap shot. Perry moved in. Perry moved in to assist Vaseko on that play. There will be no call on that play. Face off down right in the neutral ice zone here. With a line change. Briglio taking the face off for the Sharks. Out there with Rodney and Maccheroni. DiGregorio and Costa on defense. DiGregorio coming out with it. He's already got a goal tonight. Now the Stars breaking it out. Stars moving in, unable to do anything with it as it's cleared to the side. Costa moving it over. Rodney with it. Pass intercepted by one of the Stars players. Coming out is Costa. Costa with it. Controlling. Costa moving it up to Criglio, who's unable to get his stick on it. Back to DiGregorio. DiGregorio dumping it in. There'll be no icing call here. Yes, there will be an icing call. He waved off. Moved up. The Stars clear the zone. Now it's up to a two-line pass over to Doobie from, I believe that was Demore. Well, it'll bring the face-off back into the Shark zone. The point of origin. .8:36 left in the first period with the score remaining 2-1 in favor of the Sharks. Face-off taken by Hall, who's out there with Doobie and Carroll. And the draw was, wow, and a big check there by Doobie against one of the Stars players. Moved down into the Stars zone. Carroll in hot pursuit of his man down there. And we have it's a 2-on-2 situation here. And a beautiful save by, wow, here we go. Here comes Hall, Jones, who attempts to get it up. Demore. It's back and forth action here, kind of tough to keep up with. As Doobie dumps it in and changes. Here's the Stars going with a 3-on-2 breakaway. Stars moving in and controlling that. Demore after it. Demore moves it out behind the boards to Carroll. Carroll with it. Carroll is taking it heavily to the boards. Hall picks it up. Hall around the boards over to Kasparian. Kasparian with it to Demore. Demore attempting to control now and does. Moves out behind his net. Demore moving up. Demore on a shot from the point, just wide of the net. Briglio out there. Williams in to pick it up. Williams in along the boards. Controlling. Now losing it to one of the Stars players. The Stars on a... Well, that's picked off by Costa. And we have a call. Yeah, we have a penalty against Ross on that play. Face off inside the Shark zone. Opportunity there by the Stars. DiGregorio moving it up. Over to Cariglio, who dumps it in. Deep in the Stars zone now as the Stars attempt to regroup here. Picked up by Kasparian, losing it to one of the Stars players. The Stars moving it in. Crossing the line around DiGregorio right out front. Oh, and an opportunity there. Stars on another drive from the point, right out front, as the Stars unable to tuck that one home with an opportunity. Still controlling a shot and a save. We're getting quite a few shots here on this penalty situation against the Sharks. Attempting to and does move it out is Costa. Moves it down the length of the ice as the Stars go back to regroup once again with 59 seconds remaining in the penalty. Move down. We have Perry out there now. Perry attempting to move it around over to Williams. Williams with it. Moves it up out of the zone. Into the neutralized zone. Williams in pursuit of his man. Unable to control. The Stars regrouping once again. And oh, we got a cheap penalty call there, I'll tell you. That was a cheapie. That was a cheap call. But so be it. So the Sharks are going to be short-handed 2 men here now with 31 seconds remaining in the first penalty. It'll be a 5-on-3 situation against the Sharks here. Not very good. They've got their 2-1 lead. It'll be very difficult to maintain that under these circumstances. They'll have to clear it immediately. Gaffney getting the penalty on that last call. DiGregorio moving it down the length of the ice. Stars going back now. 20 seconds left in the penalty against Ross. As the Stars move it up in the neutral ice zone. We have Hall up front as a forechecker. DiGregorio into the corner, taking his man in. Back to the Stars. Stars working it back and forth now. Coming on right out front. Oh, and the Stars with a golden opportunity, muffing that one. The Stars, even with the advantage here, are having some difficulty getting the puck in the net. Ross is back on now. We have Hall replacing him. Right out front. Hall with it. Hall on a nice play, moving it out of harm's way. And the Stars coach calling for a quick change here. Hall moving in. You see a big check there. Vasiko out there with Hall. And DeMore and Costa on defense. Costa back on it. Going behind his net, dumping it around. DeMore over in the corner, attempting to get to it now. Fighting with one of the Stars. Stars end up holding it. Back to their point man. They've scored from this position earlier. Big dynamite shot by number 44 of the Stars there. He really rifled that one. Unfortunately, he missed the net. A lot of power on it. And moving it up now. Hall with it. Hall moving it up. Back in the Stars zone. There's 29 seconds remaining in that penalty. Dumping it deep into the Shark zone. Costa with it. Costa moving it over to Ross. Ross attempting to get it around. Back to the point man. This is the guy with a shot. A cannon shot. There he goes again. It was deflected. There's Perry after his man. Right behind the net. And a shot. Save. Now it's picked up. Oh, and Vasiko's taken down. No call on that. Shot from the point and a save by Candido. Penalty has expired on Gaffney, so both teams are now back at full strength. With a line change. We have Cariglio out there with Rodney and Maccheroni up front. DiGregorio and Ross on defense. Face-off will be taken by Cariglio. A slight delay here as Sharks goaltender makes a few minor adjustments. Just to the right of in the Shark zone here. Cariglio moves it up and unable to clear it. Stars coming in. Macaroni taking his man in heavily. Picked up by Rodney. Rodney moving it out into the neutral ice zone. He's got Criglio trailing. Rodney moving in. Right out front to Macaroni, who was unable to get any wood on it. Back to DiGregorio. Dumps it in. Behind the net to Criglio. Criglio attempting right out front to Rodney, and he scores. No, Macaroni. Who got that? I think that was Rodney. So, 3 minutes left in that first period. Sharks are now in the lead, 3-1. Coach is giving his boys a little pep talk down there. Explaining where they should or shouldn't be. Face off taken by Criglio. Demore fighting for it, unable to get it. And Macaroni getting an elbow in the face there by right out front. And the Stars moving around right out front yet. Now it's picked up by Costa. Costa attempting to clear the zone and get it up to Criglio, unable to. Wow. Some heavy-duty wood action down there. Play is up to Macaroni. Over to Rodney. Rodney moving in. Rodney with it. Down in the corner. Over to Demore. Demore attempting to get it back to Rodney, unable to. As the Stars attempt to clear on, and they're not able to move it out of the zone. Stars controlling down behind their net now. Doobie moves in, and it bounces over Costa's stick, clearing the zone. Back on it is Hall. Hall with it. Moving it out of the zone. The Stars move it up. Now it's picked up by DiGregorio. DiGregorio with it, over to Doobie. Demore over to Carroll. Back to Hall. In the corner, Doobie in pursuit. Doobie bumps his man. Hall over to Ross. A shot from the point, deflected wide of the net. Stars in control, moving it out in the neutral ice zone. Picked up by DiGregorio and dumped right back in by the Stars. Stars move it in and controlled. Finally moved out of the zone by Carroll. Stars moving it up through the neutralized zone, dumping it in behind the Sharks net. The Stars coming out with it. Here's Criglio moving up along the boards. He's taking it to the boards. Kasparian with it. Criglio with it. Criglio unable to get it out. Stars moving it out in the neutral ice zone, picked off nicely by Ross, who's been real handy with that stick. Dumped right back in. Williams in pursuit of his man. Now the Stars move it back out, picked up by Demore. Demore with the neutral ice. Demore moving in. Still in control, Demore taking a shot. Moved out. Now it's picked up by Costa, who moves it out of the zone, or out of the playing area. There'll be a face-off in the neutral ice zone as a result of that play. 8.4 seconds left in the first period. Sharks leading 3-1. Right out front, almost an opportunity there for the Stars, and with that, this horn sounding the end of the first period, and the action will resume here momentarily. I believe there'll be a short break here, and we'll start the first half of the second period, and we'll make ice between in the 10-minute break. Ready for second period play. Resuming here. Sharks attempting to move it in, and they get it into the zone. That's Hall with it right out front. And scoring. I believe that was Perry. We weren't too well set up for that play there, but I believe that was Perry that scored that. Possibly Vasico. Wow, that was quick. 9:45 left in the first half of the second period. The score is 4-1. The coach there from the Stars giving his boys a little more of a pep talk. Seco taking the face off. DeMore moving on it. Seco. Well, now the Stars on an opportunity here. Now I guess they kind of lose control of it. Seco in control, moving it up. Over to Perry. Perry moving it in. Deep in the Stars zone. Is Jones after it. Back to DiGregorio. DiGregorio in control on a drive from the point. That time the save was made by the goaltender. DiGregorio again. Just going wide. And it's out of play. Little altercation down there from Perry and one of the Stars players. Now we have a line change. Briglio taking the face off. He's out there with Maccheroni and Rodney. Briglio over to Rodney. Rodney on a shot there, and it's moved out of the playing surface. Face off will be taken to the left of the Stars goaltender. Face-off taken, drawn by the Stars. Stars moving in the neutral ice zone. Right out front, here comes a guy with a cannon. He shoots wide of the net. He's got a hard shot, but you got to hit the net, boy. Stars still in control. Right out front. Wow, an opportunity there again for the Stars, who seem to be having some difficulty controlling their shots. Number 18 wide open out front. Now back on it is Rodney. Oh! Costa with it. Costa moving it out. Don able to clear the zone. Right out front. Oh, and a point-blank shot. And another shot. As I said before, these Stars are having a real difficult time getting their shots on net. There goes Rodney with it. Rodney moving in. He's got an opportunity here. Just wide. Unable to control it there. Losing it at the last second. Rodney, and again a shot. Stars back on it. Picking up, and DiGregorio's taken into the boards heavily. Here comes the Stars with it. They dump it out. It's picked up by Hall. Hall is taken into the boards heavily. Nemore moves it down into the Stars zone. As the Stars drill it down the length of the ice. Be an icing call here. As DiGregorio goes back to collect it. Icing call against the Stars. Bring it back into the Stars zone. Face-off will be taken by Hall. attempting to draw it back. Does to DeMore. A shot. Possible break here by the Stars, and taken up nicely by DeMore, recovering from that. Hall moving it across. Doobie after it. And it's out of play, forcing the face-off back just to the right of the Stars goaltender. 6:57 in the first half of the second period remaining. 4-1 in favor of the Sharks. Taken by Hall, who again will attempt to draw it back to DeMore. He's out there with DiGregorio on defense. Stars getting that face-off. Picked up now by Carroll. Carroll on a shot from the point. He hit the goaltender, made the save. Doobie back to DiGregorio. Makes a little fake and a drive. Wide of the net by DiGregorio. Here comes DeMore in. Forcing it, keeping the play in. Doobie fighting his man for it. Moved up along the boards. The Stars breaking it out. DiGregorio back on his man behind the net, as well as Hall moving in with him. Hall with it, moving it out into the neutralized zone. Stars controlling now. Drive from the way out. Here's Kasparian. Kasparian unable to move it out of the zone. Behind the net. Carroll. Moved out, down the length of the ice. And the save is made. Here's Kasparian with it. Kasparian fighting for it. Now the Stars out. In moves Ross. Wide of the net. Williams back to Gaffney. Back into Williams. There's a call down here for something. What was it? An offside possibly? And a little altercation down the corner. There was an offside call there, as Gaffney must have been just outside of the zone when he shot it back in. Criglio back on the face-off here for the Sharks. Gaffney moving it in. Clearing it back out. The Stars get it in the neutralized zone. Picked up now by Williams. Williams with it. Dumps it back in. On it was Criglio. It's behind the Stars net now. The Stars pick it up. Gaffney keeping it in along the boards. Picking it up now is and right out. Unable, not out of the play though. Stars, here comes Ross with it. Ross over to Kasparian to Criglio. Criglio with it down in the corner. With Kasparian. And a save. Have a line change. Vasico out there with Jones and Perry. On defense we have DiGregorio and DeMore. Back to DiGregorio, who pumps it back into the corner behind the net to Perry. Perry with it right out front. And the Stars breaking it out. Stars moving it out in the neutral ice, picked off by Vasico. Now it's pushed back in by Hall. Back to Vasico. And we have a whistle on the play. There was an offside call. Face-off will be taken by Vasico in the neutralized zone. Vasico attempting to get it. Now they push it finally into the Star zone. Stars in control. Now Perry in there. They're applying pressure enough to create a little bit of a disturbance down there. Stars now controlling, moving it down deep into the Shark zone. This guy here is hot after Peter Vasico, who's behind the net with it. Vasico up to DiGregorio, to Hall, or Jones, excuse me. Jones moving it up along the boards. I don't know what the play was there. Possibly an offside call against the Stars. Here comes a little line change here. We have on defense Ross and Costa. Up front we have Coriglio, Maccheroni, and Rodney. Face off again in the neutral ice zone. As Coriglio steps in. Stars gaining control and moving it into the Shark zone. Behind the net, we have a problem here. Elbow call. Elbow call on one of the Stars, I believe. Or is it one of the Sharks? No, it's one of the Sharks players. There's Maccheroni in there for an elbow. So that we got a short-handed situation for the Sharks. 3:29 remaining in this first half of the second period. 4-1 in favor of the Sharks. Face-off will be to the right of the Sharks goaltender, taken by Rodney. Rodney. Stars in control. Now losing it. Coriglio with it. Coriglio attempting to move it up along the boards. Unable to as the Stars keep it in. Shot from the point. Third down the length of the ice by Rodney. Here comes Dave Coriglio after it. Goaltender for the Stars is right out there to meet him. Stars back in control. Moving it up as they regroup. Into the neutral ice zone. And a big check there by Costa. The shot attempting to move it down the length of the ice as the referee got in the way there. Now it is moved down. Deep down into the Star zone. Oh, and here's an opportunity as they were kind of two-line pass. They kind of caught the Sharks off guard there with that hanger. They bring the two-line pass. The face-off should go back to the point of origin. I thought it was back further into the Star zone than that, but quite possibly not. 2:40 left in this first half of the second period. Face-off taken by Carroll, who's out there with Doobie. DiGregorio and DeMore on defense. As you see, the Stars are running their left wing real wide here. He'll be moving forward quickly. Well, he didn't move forward quickly. He sat and waited. I don't know what the idea of lining up over there was, but Stars moving it out. Here comes the guy with a cannon. He's got a tremendous shot, this boy, and he sidesteps. Nice check by DeMore, or check attempt by DeMore. He's still in control. The Stars controlling now, deep in there, right out front. Shot tipped wide, just over the net. DiGregorio trying to manhandle his man down there. Back to the point, kicked out by Carroll. Carroll, he's got Doobie with him, unable to get it over to him. Carroll with it, a shot, just over the net. Here comes DiGregorio moving it in, and he's taking it in heavily. DeMore. 19 seconds left in the penalty. Back behind the Sharks net, picked up by Hall. Hall moves it down the length of the ice. Williams in hot pursuit, chasing his man down. Hall with it, along the boards. As the Stars attempting to control, Gaffney moves in, breaking up the play nicely. Hall moving it up to Kasperian. Kasperian on a lone breakaway. Kasperian moving in, shoot, and he scores! Kasperian slicing between the legs of the goaltender. Face-off, that's 5-1 for the Sharks. 1:20 remaining in this first half of the second period. taken by Hall. Hall with it, dumping it in. Williams picking it up behind the net. Kicked along the boards. Back to Costa. Costa with it, attempting to move it in, keep it in, unable to. Well, he's kind of got it. As he's fighting along the boards for it there, one of the Stars players fell on it. 58 seconds left. Right after this, we'll have an ice-making session and return to the second half of the second period. Face-off taken by Hall. Stars gaining control. Kept in by Costa nicely. Kept in again by Costa, who played the boards tight. Costa now over to Kasparian. The Stars coming up with it. Now picked up by Hall. Hall on a drive from the point. Gloved by the Stars goaltender. To the right of the Stars goaltender now. Taken by Hall. Drawing it back to DeMore. DeMore on a shot from the point. And a save by goaltender. Rink wide. The Stars moving it out. Almost an offside there. And a save. The Stars now back in control of the Sharks. Here comes DiGregorio up with it. DiGregorio on a shot from the point. Glove saved by the Stars goaltender. Holding on to it. 11 seconds left. Again, will be taken by Hall. He'll attempt to draw it back to DiGregorio. Well, there's a little altercation down there with his line. Uh-oh, and there's a possible breakaway as DeMore comes back to cover his man. DeMore breaking it up beautifully. And with that, the end of the first half of the second period. We'll have an ice-making session, and we'll be back in just a moment. Second period action here. As Hall is taken down, back to DeMore now. He pushes it in, little bouncy puck there. Hall after it. Perry. Stars controlling, back to Vasico. Controlling now. Vasico back over to DiGregorio. Head man it. Two-line pass. Bringing the face-off back down into the Shark zone. Face-off taken by Hall. Fighting for it. Behind the net now. Number 8 kicks it out. Hall with it. Hall over to Williams. Unable to control. Moving it back in, kept in by defenseman DeMore. Back to Hall. Hall on a drive from way out. Gets it in behind the net. And the Stars regroup, move it out. Neutral ice zone. Moving in and around Costa. Stars player is picked up by Ross. Ross with it. Ross head manning it up in the neutral ice zone to Rodney, unable to get his stick on it as the Stars control and move it up. Picked up now by Ross again. Ross into the neutral ice zone. Moving in, deep end, flipping it in. Rodney after his man. Right out front. Two guys trying for it, Maccheroni and Rodney. Now Criglio with it. Pushed in by Ross. Headman. deep into the Shark zone now. Back on it. I'm not sure who that was. This is, oh. That's Costa with it back there behind the net now. Costa moving up into the neutral ice zone over to Rodney. Rodney with it. Rodney taking a shot. Picked off by one of the Stars. Moved out into the neutral ice zone. Back on it, Di Gregorio. Di Gregorio winding around over to Costa. Costa attempting to move it up. Unable to clear the zone. Right out front. Here's Hall with it. Hall over to Carroll. Carroll right out front is, I believe Hall stepped on that. Gaffney back on it, clearing the zone back in the neutral ice. Pushed in by the Stars. Doobie attempting to move it out, right out front. This is Gaffney with it. Gaffney behind his net. Stars putting on a little bit of a pressure situation here as they move in. Doobie. Stars continuing to apply pressure, keeping it in the Shark zone. Di Gregorio back on it. Di Gregorio slapping it around. Back the Stars defense man right out front. Cleared the length of the ice. Finally, as it will be an icing call. No icing call. Vasiko after. Making chase, as they say. Picked up by Demore, who pushes it back out in the neutral ice zone. Stolen by Perry. Perry on a breakaway. Perry going in, shot, and it's over the net. Right out front. Hall on a shot and a score. Jones, excuse me. Justin Jones right out front on a pass. I'm not sure who gave that out, if that was Perry, I believe. Justin Jones popping that one home. 6-1 now, with 6:10 remaining in the second period. Face-off will be back in the neutral ice zone, taken by Vasiko, as the Sharks pound another one home. They have to maintain this this degree of play here in order to. They don't want to have a letdown here. Now here comes the Stars back with it. Stars going in, shot right out front. Oh, and a great opportunity for the Stars there as they lost control. Unable to get the shot off. Here comes Vasiko with it into the neutral ice zone. He's got Perry, over to Perry. Perry on a drive, wide of the net. Coming in is Demore. Demore keeping it in. Right out front. And Hall almost on another, Jones I should say. Almost on another opportunity there. Perry behind the net, right out front. As Demore was moving in. Unable to get to it. This is Jones with it. Jones attempting to make a pass. Was unable to. Now the Stars grab it and control. Move it out into the neutral ice zone. Picked off by Ross. Now by Demore. Demore moving up. Shooting in just wide of the net. Hall with it. Hall pounding it in. And it appears there's a lot of yelling. There may have been 6 men on the ice. Back to Costa. Costa in control. The Stars attempt to gain control of it. Unable to. Now they do. Push it down deep into the Shark zone as Gaffney goes back to collect. Gaffney behind the net, rounding the boards over to Kasparian, or Costa. Costa with it. Over to Williams, possibly. Kasparian picked off by one of the Stars players. Stars players moving in, just wide of the net on that one. Great opportunity for the Stars there as they're buzzing all around. Stars on a shot from the point. We've got these Sharks completely confused right now. Right out front, and a great save. A believe, I'm not sure who that. I think that's Quintoni now. I think they've changed goaltenders. I'm not sure which number is which. .403 remaining in the second period. The score is 6-1 in favor of the Sharks. Taken by Criglio. Face off taken by Rodney, picked up by Criglio. Here comes Gregorio up to Maccheroni to Criglio. Third down into the deep into the Shark zone, picked up by Di Gregorio now. There's a couple of fists thrown out there, and the headman to Maccheroni, two-line pass. The face-off will be back down into the just inside of the Sharks zone here, just inside the blue line. Shot wide of the net. Save. And a little bit of high sticking action down there by a few of the boys. Face off to the left of, I believe that's Quintoni. Taken by Criglio. Stars controlling. Shot. Save. Picked up now by Rodney. Rodney taking into the boards heavily. And there'll be a call. What's going on here? There comes Ross into the action. As he pushes a little bit and shoves, and I'm not sure who that is down there. That was Rodney down there pushing with his man. Or not Rodney, but Maccheroni. If the net has been dislodged, I don't believe there will be any penalties assessed. Change in defensive personnel as Di Gregorio and Gaffney come on. Up front we have Hall, Doobie, and Criglio. Move down length of the ice. There will not be an icing call here as the goaltender is forced to make the play. It's number 21, it was pointed out earlier, is a real speedster. Right out front. Drive wide of the net by the Stars. Stars are having a real difficult time hitting the net. Here again. Stars moving in. Wide of the net again. Can't hit the net. Picked up by Gaffney behind the Sharks net. Up to Doobie. Doobie flipping it out. Line change. On comes Vasico and Jones. Push back now to Di Gregorio. Di Gregorio pushing right back in. Hall and Perry in hot pursuit. Vasico down there fighting for it. Here comes the Stars. Stars just cannot seem to control the puck at all. Big check right down in front of us here as it's pushed back down in the Stars zone. Stars moving it down like there has to be an icing call here. No, as the goaltender plays it. Perry attempting to move it out. The Stars controlling. Into the boards is Ross and one of the Stars players fighting for it. Enter Vasico. DeMore going behind his net to pick it up now, along the side of the net to pick it up now. Right out front. DeMore still fighting for it. Picked up by Perry, who's taken down. Stars moving in. Lone breakaway and a save. Yeah, wow, I'll tell you. And a shot from the point. Wow, way over the net. Right out front again. The Stars applying tremendous pressure. Here comes Jones with it. Jones, he had DeMore right out front, unable to get it over to him. Jones with it. Jones with it. Winding around right out front. And the Stars goaltender making the save. There was a penalty against being assessed against the Stars on that play. I didn't realize it. Number 24 for tripping. 1:12 remaining in this this period. So the penalty will carry over into the third period. Brian Hall moving in for the face-off. Hall with it. Attempting to draw it back, unable to. It's cleared down the length of the ice. Back on is Costa for the Sharks. Costa moving back behind his net. Starting it up. Costa over to Maccheroni. Dumped right back down in the Shark zone. Picked up by Gaffney. Gaffney with it. Over to Williams. Up to Maccheroni. Back to Williams. Offside call. Doobie and Carroll out there now with Hall. Gaffney and Costa on defense. Back to Gaffney. Over to Costa. Costa with it. Costa controlling. Over to Doobie. Doobie back to Gaffney. Gaffney drive and it's kicked out of the zone. The goaltender's going to have to play it. Up to Costa. Costa with it in the neutral ice zone. Unable to do much with it there as he loses it. Now regains control. Costa moving in. Shot right on net and he's taken down. Costa's taken down heavily. Changing defensive personnel as DiGregorio and DeMore enter. 8 seconds left in the second period. And of course the ice has been made, so there'll just be a short break. And here comes Riglio taking the face-off for the Sharks. Picked up by the Stars. Stars controlling behind their net. And with that, end of the second period. Okay, so here we are, back to third period action here. Sharks leading 6-1. There's 34 seconds remaining in that penalty assessed to the Stars. And there's an icing call right now against the Sharks as that'll force the face-off back down in their zone. We have DiGregorio and DeMore on defense. Up front we have Kasparian, Rodney, and Coriglio. Taken by Kasparian now. Broken up by the Stars players, by the Stars defense. DeMore back with it. Over to DiGregorio. Again. Oh, right out front. Rodney now with it. And broken up by the Stars again. DeMore with it. DeMore pushing right back up along the boards. Kasparian with it. Over to Coriglio. The Stars attempting to move it out up along the boards, and they throw it out of the playing area. Line change for the Sharks. Coming on the Vasico line with Perry and Jones. On defense, we have Costa and Ross. Ross attempting to move it up, and now finally does. Over to Perry. Perry with it, dumping it in. And the Stars goaltender opting to cover that one, forcing a face-off. Right out front, Perry with an opportunity, unable to get it off. Vasico pushing it in behind the net. Over on is Jones. Jones over to Perry. Right out front to Jones. Oh, great opportunity, and the goaltender attempting to smother that one, unable to. As the Stars break it out now into the neutral ice zone. Jones picked off by the Stars. Now it's taken by Ross. Over to Vasico. Vasico with it, moving in. Vasico attempting to split the defense. Unable to control it as the Stars move it along, and it's out of play. And a little pushing and shoving right down here by Ross and a couple of the other boys. Little bit of a battle down here, battle royal. Ross and who's number 12 there for Ross and Wallace. Wallace of the Stars. They'll both be getting the gate. And they're heading off. So we'll get back in the action here. A little bit of pushing and shoving. We have a line change. No, we don't have a line change. Well, we do have a line change. We have Doobie, Carroll, and Hall out there. And on defense, we have DiGregorio and Gaffney. "18 minutes left in the third and final period as the Sharks maintain a lead of 6-1. DiGregorio moving it out into the neutral ice zone, now down in the Shark, or into the Stars zone. Picked up by the Stars player, attempting to move it out. Gaffney moving in to keep the play in the zone. Stars now breaking it out. Back on it is Hall. Rounding the net over to Doobie. Doobie moving it out. Unable to clear the zone. There's a big hit there by Hall. Right down in front of us here. And we have another little pushing match down here with DiGregorio and one of the boys. Doobie after it. DiGregorio throwing a big check down here. And Gaffney moving in to hammer his man. Gaffney goes into the boards. And a save. A little bit more pushing and shoving down there in the corner by several of the boys. This could develop into a real fiasco here in the next few minutes. We have a line change. Macheroni, Craiglio, and Rodney coming out there for the Sharks. Face-off will be taken by Craiglio. Over to pick it up is DeMore. DeMore is taken down heavily. Drive from the point and a goal by number 55 for the Stars. A drive from the point. Six to 2 now, with 17 minutes remaining in the third period. As the Stars drawing blood once again now. Hopefully their momentum will be short-lived. Moving up now is Hall to take the face-off, who's out there between Williams and Kasparian. There goes there's number 21 who can fly. Picked up by Costa. Costa rounding his net. Up to Williams. And it's pushed back in. Costa attempting to get control of it. Now over to Kasparian, and there's pushing and shoving along the boards. Over to, right out front. Now it's picked up by DeMore. DeMore with it, over to Kasparian. Kasparian attempting to move it out, unable to. The Stars putting on some pressure here now. Picked up by Hall, over to Williams. Picked up by Costa. Costa with it, controlling now. Over to Kasparian. Kasparian, and the net has been dislodged, forcing whistle, stoppage of play. And line change ensuing for both teams. Seco out there now between Jones and Perry. DiGregorio with it. Seco controlling. Seco right out front. And back, as Gaffney attempted to get it over to DiGregorio, unable to. Now controlling is Vasico. Vasico dumping it in behind the net. DiGregorio moving in, pinch off his man. Stop the play from moving out. And Vasico moving in. Now picked up by Hall. By Jones, excuse me. And beautiful play by Perry. He was right out front. Shot came across, and Perry picked it in. 15:56 remaining in this third and final period as the Sharks grab blood once again. And the score is now 7-2. A line change coming on for the Sharks once again. Hall, Doobie, and who else? Carroll. On defense, we have DiGregorio and Gaffney staying out there. Gaffney over to DiGregorio, back to Gaffney, up to Carroll. Losing it to the Stars players. Now up to Hall. Hall dumping it in. Doobie going in, taking his man into the boards quite heavily. Doobie with it down in the corner, losing it to one of the Stars players. The Stars attempt to, and no, they don't quite get it out of the zone. They attempted to, and Stars here with a breakaway. Steered wide of the net, right out front. Picked up now by Doobie. Doobie with it, headmanning it, clearing the zone. And we have a stoppage in play again. For what? Penalty being assessed against the Stars. Slashing penalty against the Stars. Number 24. No, not number 24. Well, 74. Penalty being assessed against the Stars. So with that, we've got another opportunity for the Sharks to draw blood again. Bringing it back to DeMore. DeMore with it. Over to Ross. Ross over to DeMore. DeMore up to Doobie. Doobie dumping it in. Going in deep behind the Stars net. The goaltender goes back to save it there. Being pressured now by... Oh, and picked off nicely by Ross, who attempted to keep it in with his glove. He was unable to. Drive from the point. Right back in behind the Stars net. Oh, and Hall moves in right out front again. And here comes DeMore, keeping the pressure on, There's Carroll with it. Carroll right out front, picked off by one of the Stars players, and it's moved out in the neutral ice zone. Picked up by DeMore. DeMore with it. Collecting. DeMore moving it up into the neutral ice and into the Star zone. DeMore still in control. Shot right out front. Attempted pass over to Coriglio, who couldn't get his stick on it. Back to Ross. Ross back to Maccheroni. Macheroni down in the corner. Craglio going in to help out. Unable to get it out of the corner there, as both players are working it. Now another Stars player moves in, and he comes out with it. Moves it down the length of the ice. It will not be an icing call, as there's a penalty against the Stars. Up to Craglio to Macheroni. Macheroni moving in with it. Picked off by the Stars. Picked off by Rodney. Rodney with it. Moving over to Gaffney, who whiffs on it. And out front to Macheroni, who also misses contact with the wood. Puck. Right out front, picked off by the Stars now. The Stars move out into the neutral ice zone. Stars dump it in. And a little bit of a check there as the Stars come back and once again control it. They're back at full strength. Wow, just wide of the net as this number 44, I said before, has got a dynamite shot, and he takes Costa into the boards heavily. Moved up now along the boards. Rodney with it. Rodney attempting to control and does. Over to Hall. Hall with it. Over to Williams. Right out front to Hall, and unable to get his stick on it. Minutes left. 13 minutes left in the third period. Score remaining 7-2 in favor of the Sharks. We played a very impressive game today. Hall going in for the face-off. Hall. Back to Williams. Back to Demore right out front. Unable to get to it was Kasparian. Di Gregorio keeping it in. Kasparian. Di Gregorio pushing it in hard, and it's in deep behind the net. Williams in pursuit of his man. And we have a fight down here between Kasparian and whoever number 24 is. There's a little action there. As Kasparian is down, he lost his helmet. So they'll be both going to the sin bin here. And with that, we're going to be back in the live action here momentarily. Mr. Khmer and Mr. Kasparian going at it. Face-off will be taken by Hall. Kept in by Demore. Demore on a shot just wide of the net. They had the markings for going in if things had worked out a little differently. Picked off by Hall. Hall with it. Now it's picked off by one of the Stars players. Moved up. Demore with it. Demore on a shot. Wide of the net. Here comes Macheroni in on his man, taking him in heavily. Kept in by Hall. Headman. Now it's up to one of the Stars players as they break out. Moving in. And he's met very, very solidly by David Di Gregorio. Williams with it. Williams moving in. Williams got a shot to the blue line and scores. Everybody just kind of stood there and looked at that. I don't know how the hell that one went in. Wow, I'll tell you something. Let me know, the goalie was really lax on that shot. That was just a on-ice type dribbling shot from out around the blue line, I think outside of the blue line, and the goaltender was very, very lackadaisical on that. You never know when they're going to go in. At any rate, a goal's a goal, I guess. If there's a letdown, that's all it takes. That's what it takes to get the goals. Back to the action here. Perry with it. Perry moving it up, out of play. So 11 and a half minutes left in the third period, as the Stars are now, or the Sharks are now leading 8-2. There comes Peter Vasico in for the face-off. Draws it to Ross. Ross with it. Ross on a shot. Wide of the net. I think these Stars have had their spirit broken a little bit here earlier on. I don't think their goaltending has been quite as sharp as it should have been. There's Perry with it. Perry on a shot. Wide, right out front. Vasico moving in, and I'll tell you, he made some real nice saves there, the goaltender did. As Vasico followed up a Perry shot, and I'm not sure who else was involved in that, but several shots made there. Vasico moving in to get the face-off now. Back to Ross and the tip, and the goaltender smothering that one. I believe that was either Jones or Perry out there trying to get that tip in. Face-off will be to the left of the Stars goaltender. There's been a complete breakdown in hockey discipline on behalf of the Stars team. They have not demonstrated any kind of aggressive nature out there at all in recent times. Shot over the net by Ross. Perry in to get it, and coming up with it is Costa. Over to Perry. Perry back to Vasico. Vasico controlling. There is a delayed penalty here. Shot by Ross. Over to Perry. Perry with it in the corner. Back to Vasico. Vasico controlling. Over to Ross right out front, and almost went in there again as Hall or Jones was right in there to collect on that rebound. High sticking called against number 21 of the Stars. Face off down in the Shark or in the Star zone. Hall will be taking that face off. He's out there between Carroll and Doobie, I believe. Call after it, drawing it back, and here's a possible break for the Stars. Stars moving in. Shot and a save. Moved out. The Stars coming up with a big play there. Wow. DiGregorio running his man down here in front of me. I didn't get that on film, but he really took a shot at him. Gaffney over to Hall. Picked up by Perry. They're delayed offside here as the Stars are regrouping. Along the boards, Gaffney meeting his man. Coming around. Now he's being picked up by DiGregorio, and the puck lays there in the corner as Gaffney comes back to pick it up. Gaffney with it. Gaffney moving up into the neutral ice, center ice zone. Gaffney walking it in, stopping, moving. Dishing it off to Doobie. Doobie right out front. Shot. Over to Hall. Hall with it. Hall back to DiGregorio. Over to Gaffney. Gaffney on a shot. Wide of the net. DiGregorio pushing it back into Hall. Over to Carroll. Carroll with it. Back to Gaffney to DiGregorio. DiGregorio over to Doobie. Doobie right out front and right through the goal crease. Put there by Carroll, who was unable to get that one. Gaffney with it. Gaffney pushing it right back in, and Hall into the corner after it. Hall attempting to get it back to DiGregorio, unable to. Now it's back to DiGregorio. Compliments one of the Stars players. Kicked up to Gaffney, who attempts to keep it in. Criglio over to DiGregorio, back to Criglio. Criglio on a break. He's moving in. Criglio on a backhand. Back to Gaffney on a drive and a save by the goaltender of the Stars. 8.5 minutes remaining in this third period, and the Sharks are now leading 8-2. just see the Pittsfield or the Pitts Springfield picks coming in underneath this here. Quiriglio taking the face off. He's out there between Maccheroni and Rodney. You got Ross and DeMore on defense. Rink wide. The Stars head down. It's attempting to clear it out. Now Maccheroni over to Ross. Ross, rink wide over to Rodney. Rodney over unable to get to it. Here comes Maccheroni picking it up now. Maccheroni with it. Headmanning it to Rodney. Now back to Maccheroni. Maccheroni dumping it in. There'll be an icing call here. Bringing the face-off back down to the Shark zone. Face-off will be taken by Quiriglio. Picked up by the Stars. Now it's grabbed back by the Sharks. Stars move it back in as it was picked off. DeMore with it. DeMore moving it up to Rodney, unable to get his control on it. Stars right out front. Rodney with it. Rodney rounding his net, headmanning it to Maccheroni. Maccheroni unable to control. Stars coming out with it. Stars moving in. Shot right on net. And a save by the Sharks goaltender. I believe that's Quatoni. Change in personnel for the Sharks. Stars controlling. Right out front over to Williams now. One-on-one break. Carroll moving in. Carroll offside. Very, very close on that call. Back on it is Costa. Here comes Carroll with it. Carroll moving in. Carroll on a shot from the point, wide of the net. Kasparian with it, over to Williams. Williams behind the net. Costa moving it in. Back on it is Williams now in the corner. We have a whistle on the play as an offside is called. 6 minutes left in the third period. Line change due for the Sharks. Seco out there between Perry and Jones. Stars attempting to move it in. Perry attempting to control, losing it now to the Stars. Stars now losing it back to DeMore. DeMore moving in. DeMore on a shot wide, just right out front, and the goaltender bounced off his skate as Hall moved in for the tip. And the goaltender was very fortunate on that play. That had the markings of a goal on it. as Jones came along across the crease and gave it a little bit of a tip. Face-off now will be taken by Vasico again, to the right of the Stars goaltender. Vasico back, bouncing over the stick of DiGregorio. DeMore with it. DeMore clearing it back up in the neutral ice. There, and what do we have here? Two-line pass, I believe. Face-off, we're coming back down into the Shark zone. Jones picking it up, back to DeMore. DeMore with it. Here goes Perry, making chase. Over to Vasico. And Vasico's giving a real big elbow right in the face. The Stars are coming back. There's an offside going to be called here. And DeMore and Bellinger down on the ice. DeMore getting a penalty for holding. So over the next 2 minutes, the Sharks will be playing shorthanded. 5:30 remaining in the third period. Out there is Carroll and I believe Doobie. Penalty killing. Pushed into the Star zone. Here comes number 44. He's a good skater. He's got a good shot, and Stars putting on the pressure here, right out front now, and they're right behind the net, the Sharks net. Stars controlling. Right out across the front of the net. Cleared by Ross, down the length of the ice. Stars going back to regroup. Doobie in a chase of his man. Here comes Stars moving in. Nice play, nice fake. Nice play by, I'm not sure who that was. I believe that was Carroll on that. And once again, forcing the Stars to go back and regroup. Rink-wide pass, didn't get his stick on it, and pushed right back in again to the Star zone. They're really don't have anything going here at all tonight. Stars will attempt to move it out now, and Hall is taking head over heels. He's down. He may pick up the action here if it develops. I guess it broke up a little bit. It appeared as though Hall and his boy were getting into it a little bit. Here we have a breakaway. DiGregorio and Maccheroni. DiGregorio to Maccheroni. Oh, and errant pass. Stars coming down. Shot. Over the net and out of play. Forcing a face-off. 4 minutes left to play. Kriglio out there with Rodney up front. DiGregorio and Gaffney, I believe, are on defense. Kriglio taking the face-off. Rodney picking it up, attempting to move it out, and does. Down into the Stars zone. The Stars move it up into the neutral ice zone. Picked up now by number 11 of the Stars. Moved in, and he's taken into the net by Gaffney. Resetting the net. There's 10 seconds left on DeMore's penalty. Both teams will be at full strength. Kriglio taking the face-off. Getting it out. Stars trying to control. Move down. as the goaltender makes a save, and Rodney's down there in hot pursuit. The Stars move it up, unable to clear the zone. We have a player down. Seems as though there's a lot more stick action here these days, and it's up on the netting, behind the net. A lot of stick work down there. Di Gregorio moving in, and I believe he's going to get a penalty. And we have a cross-checking penalty against who? Yes, I believe it's cross-checking on David Di Gregorio. Three minutes left. Down the corner, right out front. Offside call. .141 remaining in Di Gregorio's penalty. Face-off taken by Williams. Williams on a possible break as he's being tied up and taken out. Here comes the Stars back. Stars moving it in. And a great save by Antoni. Line change due for Sharks. 2:07 remaining in the last period here to play in this game. Seems to be some confusion as to who's going to be out there. Yes, it appears to be Criglio and Rodney. Di Gregorio still has a minute in his penalty. Taken by Criglio, the face-off. Push to the corner, the Stars are on it. And the Stars players taking in the boards. Back to Wallace for the Stars. Stars attempting to and still controlling. Right out front. Nice play, by the Stars on that one. As I believe, let's see, I'm not sure who that was that moved in there for that pass. I believe it was number 19. Moved right into the, saw the opening and moved in and tipped it home. And so the score now 8-3. In favor of the Sharks. 1:47 remaining. And that releases Dave Di Gregorio from the penalty box. Face-off now taken by Peter Vasico. Vasico with it. Attempting to move it up, unable to. Here, this little speedster, he can go like the devil. Right out front and into the net. There'll be a whistle on that play. As number 21 slid into the net. He can move. Face off to the right of to the right of the Sharks goaltender. Taken by Vasico. Back on it is Costa. Costa controlling. Behind the net, moves it up to Perry. Perry out to Vasico, picked off by one of the Stars. Again, Vasico controlling. Vasico moving it up in the neutral ice zone to Costa. Back again to Costa as he dumps it in. Vasico going in hard after his man. Kept in by Perry. Perry and Vasico working it. Now broken out by the Stars. Rink wide pass. Stars shot. Trying to throw it out was Costa, who's lost his stick. And down on it, making the save. One of the Sharks player, or one of the Stars players tumbles over Sharks goaltender. Costa recouping the stick, reclaiming the stick. So the Sharks are going to go out of the season with a big victory over the Granite State Stars. 41 seconds left. 41 seconds remaining in this season for the Rhode Island Sharks. Rhode Island Junior Sharks. Drive, and it's cleared by Hall. Down, there will not be an icing call on this as Carroll moves in. Now the Stars moving out with it. DiGregorio attempting to make a play. Broken up now by Ross. Hall behind the net. Over on it is Carroll. Picking it up now is Carroll. Carroll moving it up. 9 seconds. You hear the boys cheering it up this time. The end of the season. There they are. Everyone's down there raising hell now. Sounding the final horn. Coaching staff. Nice way to end the season with a victory. As the players going to congratulate their goaltending and one another. Coaches meet at the center ice. Shake hands. Traditional handshake. As the players go through their routine here. And the conclusion of this game